going on, you awesome movie nerds, and welcome back to another episode of What I've Been Watching, because why have a cool movie collection if you're not going to watch anything? This week I watched quite a variety of different things. I started off by watching Small Group, the movie. Now, if you're not in the Christian movie market, which I would imagine most people aren't, you might have missed. There's this trend in Christian movies to do a satirical comedy making fun of Christian culture. It kind of started with the resurrection of Gavin Stone a little bit, but it really blew up in the past year or two, I would say, with stuff like Faith-Based, Yes God Yes, Church People, and Small Group. The movie is definitely one of these titles that is trying to be a satirical comedy of Christian culture. It just fails miserably, I would say. I found this on Facebook. There was an ad for it, and it said, comedy/drama. And I love a good dramedy, but this isn't a dramedy. This is a comedy/drama, because it's either in comedy mode or it's in drama mode, and it cannot balance the two in any way, shape, or form. I thought there was some good talent behind this movie, but ultimately it just couldn't pull it off, because it couldn't handle both a comedy aspect and a drama aspect. About 2/3 of this film is just straight comedy, and then the last third of it just goes into complete drama, trying to make you feel things, which is sure fine. I'm not saying that a dramedy can't make you feel things, but you just completely lost sight of the comedy. And it was like a clear cutoff point, too. You could definitely tell, like, oh, this is a drama now. Okay. See, something like The Edge of 17 is just a really good dramedy, where it can handle both comedy and drama, and do them both really, really well and simultaneously. So while you're laughing at her, you're also crying with her because you feel her pain. A good dramedy knows how to balance the two of them together, and this just does not. And it turns into the most average paint-by-numbers Christian movie that you can really find, which is unfortunate. I would definitely recommend checking out something like Faith-Based or Yes God Yes. I would even recommend Resurrection of Gavin Stone over Small Group, because at least it knows what it is, and it does that throughout the entirety of the film without just randomly changing gears. So, the next film that I ended up watching was Man from U.N.C.L.E., and this is just a really fun spy movie. So if you like the old James Bond sort of movies, or just a more fun version of Mission Impossible, this is the movie for you. It was really, really entertaining. My only problem with it is I would have loved to see more movies with these characters. Like, I felt like this should have been a franchise, and we should be getting, like, 5 of these movies, and we just have the one. Because of that, I feel like it lacks just a little bit to me, because I want to see more, but overall, it's a really, really solid movie, and I would recommend checking that one out, especially if you're in kind of this fun spy movie feeling. Then I watched Little House on the Prairie. See, I recently picked up a pack of about 4 of them at the thrift store, and I remember watching these as a kid. Like, I remember having the VHS tapes. Anyway, I watched The Little House on the Prairie, the premiere movie, and it is fantastic. What I love so much about this is just the atmosphere, and just sucks you in. It completely transports you into this world, and at no point do you ever think that you're not watching these people on the prairie and trying to build this house and doing all these things. And it boils down to the actors and the writing and everything, but it's a really, really solid movie. Took me back to my childhood. The thing, though, that was so interesting to me, after having watched The Muppets last week, watching this, both are very much family-friendly films, but in completely different ways. The Muppets is this very squeaky clean aspect of family-friendliness, whereas, I mean, you know nothing inappropriate is going to happen in Little House on the Prairie, because it's Little House on the Prairie. It still feels, it's got great atmosphere, and it feels like anything could happen. It still has a lot of drama and a lot of tense moments, and it feels very adult, while still being very family friendly. It's something that I feel like is lacking in movies today. No one can make an adult film without putting in a lot of language or sex or, adult content that children shouldn't be watching. It's something that used to be in cinema. If you look back at some of the greats, like Gone with the Wind, It's a Wonderful Life, Casablanca, some of these films tackle these big subjects and are told in very adult ways, and yet are still very family friendly. And understand those were films, well, most of them were films made under the code, but still, I think it's an art form that is lacking today in the cinema, and I would love to see that kind of be brought back. But yeah, Little House on the Prairie, super solid movie. And lastly, I ended up watching Jumanji. Yes, Jumanji. See, I had picked up recently the animated series. And if you did not know that there was a animated Jumanji series, neither did I. I picked up all 3 seasons for like $4. It was a Mill Creek set. And I started watching that. It was really, really good. I was surprised how good that series was, and it made me want to go back and watch Jumanji. And I did, and what was interesting was the first episode of the series is the exact same thing as the Jumanji movie, just condensed into like a 22-minute form instead of the 2-hour movie. And you'd think it'd be hard to do it, but they somehow figured it out. I don't know, Jumanji is really solid. I think some of the special effects, especially like on the monkeys and different CGI, is very dated from that movie, unfortunately. But it's still a really, really solid film. I do think it goes on just a little bit too long. That's actually a problem I have with almost all Jumanji films that I've seen. Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle. They go on for just a little bit too long. It's just a little bit too repetitive. I feel like you should cut it off about an hour and a half, maybe even a little bit less, to just really have a super, super solid movie. But it's still really good. See, that's where I think the television series can come in and hit that perfect stride, because it can still be repetitive, telling the same sorts of stories and everything, and yet play in that repetitive nature. And I think that could be interesting. Yeah, Jumanji, solid films, solid classic film. Robin Williams, it's fantastic. I'd say check it out, but most people already have. So that's what I have been watching this week. What have you guys been watching? Have you been watching something old, something new? Let me know down in the comment section below. I love hearing from you guys. And as always, I love you awesome nerds. I'll see you in the next one.